like,
oh god.
We'll see if we're in the middle of playing and I just go like, we'll see. I don't think I could take it. It's like a good 2-inch diameter. I don't think that would go well.
Well, I mean, I've seen that people can do that. You just have to practice.
Usually,
Like that guy with the glass cylinder.
Yeah,
Oh!
Oh, hey, we're live.
One man, one glass.
Oh my god.
If you know, you know.
Well, we never start these things out clean, do we? It's, when we come ripping, it's like, just...
Not E for everyone.
E for erotic, maybe.
We're like E for everywhere.
Everywhere? Yeah, that's better. That's why I'm not a writer.
Yeah. It's like, oh, get a new chair, $300, or replace the cylinder, $30. So.
Or you should get one of those like those fancy chairs that recline, and then like.
I want that one I shared. Yeah, like the $20,000 like pink.
Yeah.
Chair.
That fucking madass.
It doesn't have wheels or anything, so like I would be stuck here. So then work would be really awkward.
Yeah, but you'd look really cool from the profile.
Yeah,
that's true. Like, I can just pull my work webcam over, and then looking at it straight on.
I'm still thinking the once I have a little bit of money, I want to get D one of those Elgato's prompters, so he can be looking right at the camera when he's talking to chat.
These things are wild. Like, I was impressed with the little thing that came out a couple of years ago, where it's just like a little, like, tiny pinhole camera that just hangs down in the center of your screen.
Oh,
so it's, I mean, you still have like a dot in the middle of your screen that you're looking at, but at least you're looking at your content, your camera, and your content at the same time. But
I mean,
I don't know.
All kinds of solutions.
I have a coworker who just refuses to try and work with the camera, and she just has it like up in the corner.
Yeah.
So like it's just
she
never tries to make eye contact or anything. I'm like, that probably works better.
Oi!
Yeah. Legendary from Grayley.
Yeah.
This is Danny's 50th session. So.
Nice. So if you make it out, you'll get a major, right?
If I survive, I get a major.
Yeah. In our going live, I actually called Grayley out. Like,
yeah, it's good.
Like, this episode brought to you by Grayley, who used 20k points to give us a total team kill event.
Did you see, Iggy? I heard there was a legendary encounter, and I'm determined to watch.
Yeah.
So we should get right into it. So we don't have any. We don't have to speed anything along here.
Release the evil. Like, god damn it, that's a classic. That brought me all the way back to a tent out in my best friend's yard.
What is that movie?
It's Little Nicky.
Oh, I've never seen it.
He's the son of the devil.
Yeah, but it's weirdly wholesome and stupid at the same time. I freaking love it.
Yeah. Wasn't like his mom an angel or something?
Yeah.
Or human?
Yeah,
like that?
She was an angel.
He's got it both in him.
So
okay.
Slammed a bowl of ice cream. I love it.
What would technically happen if we had a legendary encounter on top of another legendary encounter?
We talked about it. D would just like make it happen later. Because we just die otherwise.
Player 3 has arrived.
Yeah.
Ha! Fools you! I brought more character sheets.
Just slam it down on the table like
a big old stack of sheets.
Or I am Finn the
Oh man, that's the same thing as like Darkness Rising. Have you guys ever seen that indie film?
Yes.
Didn't you show that to me, D?
I think I may have. It's like my favorite indie film ever. Film.
Phil. So yeah, the recap is going to be short tonight because we're going to get right into it. Last time on Shadows, we were able to successfully meet all the people that Mr. Glass said we should try find and meet. When we came back to our home to figure out next steps, Sebastian and Memphis showed up. Which Memphis we hadn't met before, but we saw him briefly as we were leaving Violet De La Rosa's place. It seems that Memphis has something that could help our quest, or is looking for things that could help us in our quest. But he's also being followed by some baddies, because now our home, or our safe house, I think we're on the third one now, fourth one, is beset by 20, I'm going to call them monsters, and we're fighting them right now. It's tower defense
Yeah.
in shadows.
Everybody had certain positions as well. 'Cause you had the main entry point, you had the stairwell that was sort of in the front, visible from the front doorway. You had the wraparound porch that went the whole length. And you have Hugh Man on the right-hand side facing outward over the porch with weapon in hand. You have, I believe, Danny was on the left. I think Barnaby was covering him. And I don't remember. I think Malcolm was walking out to meet. I think he was going right down the middle.
Yeah, you were going right outside.
With a
Yeah.
gigantic cloud strife sword. A buster.
Just for this episode, can you describe the things attacking us again? I can read what I wrote, but I figure you probably just be better at it than me just giving you a clerical thing.
There was a slow attempted assembly of the enemy forces out on the front lawn, just beyond the gate at the street. They were coming in what looked like red fireflies, all collecting out at the bottom or in and around the by the gate area, but it just looked like streams of something almost like red fireflies just kind of collecting down. They all started to form into humanoid shapes, and whenever they finally did come into when they were fully incorporated, they pushed through the gates and started more or less shambling through the front lawn and the rest of it. They were humanoid, but not human, built out of something that looked like hot and angry ash. And they were coming with definite, malified intent. It was pretty clear, especially, the part that we didn't quite get to was that when you guys were assembling yourselves and putting yourselves into position, Malcolm going down the center and being ready to meet them at the front door, they started to grow weaponry, some of them anyway, from out of arms or from out of their hands, and the rest of it. It looks basically like some kind of volcanic glass. The glass is heated at its edge, so it goes from this black and then gradients into this glowing red color from anything that they manage to materialize in that fashion. Most of them are bladed. There's a few in there that seem to have these kind of like spiky clubs or hammers of a sort with these gnarled kind of features to them, all of them being either pitted or looking almost like natural formations if somebody had taken it and carved
Like
the implements. Yes.
No thanks. Danny's out. Gonna hop through the Neverland to lock the door. See you guys later.
But yeah, so they have begun to proceed onward and they're approaching the front. And I guess now is just a matter of getting yourselves ready for the fight in and of itself. Let's see here. This will probably be close enough. I didn't really get...
Well, I guess we're going to activate.
But the most important aspect of all of this is that you have Memphis and Estelle trying to maintain the house's defenses by being in sort of a meditative and entranced... Basically, they're just trying to protect it with some sort of mystical field. It's not really clear what they're doing because it seems to be above and beyond Danny's capacity for his own experience. And they're not able to talk right now since they're busy concentrating. But yeah, I mean, you're pushing out that way. At this point, it's very clear, so we'll just have combat sense awareness to determine who's going first. Let's do it.
Point, 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 point.
Okay, 15.
I have to use all my implements this evening. Okay.
I have 18 on the dice.
Danny's 21.
I exploded.
You are exploding.
I have a 27.
Scott, you watched Fallout, right?
Yes.
Explode my penis.
Yes. Some guys do. Like a pimple.
I love that they actually had, like, you didn't see it, but they had the speech checks.
Yes. You are a villain, and you should go away. No.
So it looks
All
like
right.
Danny's probably going first.
Yeah, 27.
Yeah, well, this is going to be good. All right. Okay, let's see here. I have to do one more thing.
That's alright, I'm gonna make a tactics roll first.
Tactics.
And my tactics roll will be like, Barnaby, what do I do?
What do I do?
You just fling magic at him. Firebolt.
Fireball, fireball, fireball.
I'm gonna cast magic missile into the darkness.
I'm so used to using my number pad that it just flipped it over because I have shortcuts set up. So, ignore that.
Okay, so I'm doing a tactics roll
Got it?
to start.
Damn.
That's pretty good. Alright. Barnaby's just like, lay it out there, make sure that they can't get into the house. He just pops over your shoulder while you're trying to contemplate what he's talking about. What he means is like, use things that cause like them to be either be pushed back, held back, or disorient. He's like, try to use broad spectrum something to, use an area of effect to keep them from getting too close or like swarming in. Malcolm, were you planning, just out of curiosity, on walking out and meeting them in the field, or just like holding at the door? I think you were holding at the door.
Holding at the door, basically giving them a target to go after.
Yep, well, the windows had been opened previously, and Barnaby lets off several crack shots. Just kind of putting it in there. I mean, it's loud, it rings, because he's firing over the top of you at this point, because you're hunched down below the window, and he goes up over the top, and you can hear that barking roar of his weapon. He fires off several shots, and right at that point, they sort of are returning fire from where he's standing. This is where it gets interesting. They don't just come up close with their dark glass burning weapons. They start to push forward in a methodical sense. They actually appear to have some kind of intelligence in them. Because all of the ones in front that have those weapons that are manufactured from out of this volcanic glass, whatever that might be, they crouch down, and several others from behind them start bringing their hands up in slower motions. You can see this swirling condensation. It basically looks like smoldering ash. Like, it's all charred and embered and all that, but it's centering around this nucleus at the center. And when they launch it forward, there are multiples. And since we're all standing here at this point, they just fire these things off. They leave this trail of swirling smoke on each one of them. They make impact, however, on all parts of the front, and they don't hit past the porch. There seems to be some sort of barrier that's in the way, and you can see it because there's these gold plumes of light that kind of pop off every single time one of those things make contact. Of course, Danny, whenever you see that happen, because you're going to be peeking up, I'm sure, to kind of take a look around after he makes those shots, you can hear your mother sort of strain a little bit because she ends up taking a breath. You feel like you can tell that the struggle is happening because she's defending the house with her own ability at this point.
Do I get to attack?
Yeah.
Or was that my turn with attack?
No. Your tactics roll was just to assess your situation. It is still your attack. I'm just telling you what's happening as you're going through it.
How many targets are there?
In your line of sight, you're probably picking out 13 at least.
Ew, that's gross. Okay. What is legendary? So, yeah. So, okay. Let me think about what I want to do. And are they walking? Are they like?
Well, they had hunched
perambulating?
down and stopped moving, while the other ones had launched their sort of ranged attack, whatever that was. You're getting
Not
the
like
smell of
floating
like
or
sulfur and
something.
brimstone too, that goes along with it.
Okay, but they're not like floating or
No, they're on
something
foot.
like that. Okay. I think what I'm gonna do. I mean, I really think I'm just gonna kind of take the temperature of the situation with lightning.
All right.
So once they get closer, I want to, there's other stuff I want to do. But I think at this range, how far apart are they?
They're
From
pretty
each
well
other.
clustered into a loose phalanx, if you know what that is.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm gonna do lightning, and I'm gonna use my bracelet to make sure I have at least one success on that. But then I'm gonna do 5d10, so the target is 8 here.
Let's see what you got.
Okay, so I got 2 successes because
Gotta stop using my damn number pad.
so it should jump. 2 successes means it jumps twice.
Okay. Man, I'm just clicking all over the place. Alright. So you burned one off your bracelet for this?
Yeah.
Okay. I got you. Alright, so yeah, I mean you ripple out. What's your power?
My power, my spell attack is 16. My base power is 12.
Alright, so 12. Yeah, basically you're gonna be rippling it across for about 12 a hit.
Yeah.
Alright. So, that being said, I'm gonna take care of this right now.
This is where we see if the lightning does anything.
Say what? A resub. Okay.
I think he's coming in hot.
Yeah. Not only that,
That splurting of stuff.
I know
If you
that
go
was
to
kind
the if you go to the OOC and scroll up to the first thing, guide pen,
15 months
that'll be
indeed.
what happened.
Yeah. Well, even better is that it ran perfectly well. It wasn't screwed up.
It did.
All right. Let's see here. Okay. So, you rip into it. This lightning cracks off. If you thought the gunshots were loud, the lightning's even worse. It pops enough. It basically cracks off the tips of your fingers, going straight out over the porch. And it's not like you can see it traveling from point A to point B. You just see it hit and the 2 targets that are actually receiving its damage. When that happens, you can see bursting kinds of points where it makes contact, but there's a diffusion problem. It makes contact with that force, but when it makes contact with them, it just blows it apart and they kind of come back together, and you're realizing that it's almost like they're loose ash, which means that when the contact of the lightning hits, it causes it to ground out because there's just too many points of contact. It hits the second target and manages to do kind of the same thing. Now you've got those really weird sort of like jagged lines in your eyesight too, because you could just see it popping that lightning kind of ripping across that way. All right. So, do you have more than one or just that one? think it's just that one, isn't it?
I just get one attack or whatever.
Yep. Okay. Go back to my... Alright. So after that thunder lights off, Ken, you can see several opportunities. You can use your weaponry. I believe you have a shotgun if I'm correct.
Yep, caught off.
Yep.
Try and relay this information to anyone who doesn't actually see it. You know.
Right. You're just basically shouting off, basic things that you can understand about what's happening. Like they don't seem to, it's like, like that didn't work very well. Like stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's gonna be essentially useless. he'll shoot his gun.
Okay, that's not useless. What the hell are you talking about? I'll just shoot my gun.
Yeah, but I like when Malcolm's turn comes around, we'll see. Like we've got Danny who can like chain lightning and hit everything. Then Malcolm who's gonna have like 4 or 5 attacks, hitting all kinds of things. I was like, blam.
Do you only have one shot, or do you have multiples?
I only have one shot.
Legendary
one.
Frickin' encounter indeed. Yeah.
All right. I'll shoot at. We should target these guys so that we can keep track of damage. So you said that they're not advancing right now. A few of them are hunched over, and
they're going to be starting to pick back up and walking again. But you have easy targets. It's target rich.
Well, yeah. I want to shoot. If there's one that's easy enough to target, I want to shoot one of the ones that Danny hit with the lightning, just because
That's just on the opposite side of where you're at. So you'll take your furthest target, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Oh, because we're on opposite sides.
Correct.
But concentrated fire seems smart.
I'm gonna up, down, right, left, up, one, down, and then like here.
Yeah. All right. So, shotguns are rifles, right?
Yes, that is correct.
I feel like I'm going to be using this a lot, so I'm going to use one of my kickers on that one.
Yeah.
That rifle, my boosted skill. One of my boosted skills.
As you please, sir. And it'll be stuck there for the rest of the encounter, of course.
What's the thing called? Jack of all trades?
That's your current archetype, your sub-archetype, yeah. Master of None is the ability you're referring to.
I was writing Master of None, I was like, that make sense to me.
Yeah.
16.
Okay, not too bad. Well, like I said, target-rich environment, so they're not really moving around or any of that kind of stuff. So when they start to stand up, you fire off one of your shots. Because it's a sawed-off shotgun, here's the thing about the way that those guns are, because it's side-by-side barrel. Are you unleashing both barrels or just one? Because you can pull both simultaneously.
I guess it's going to be both, so I'll reload.
Yep, no problem. So that's a double shotter. What's the damage on it?
12.
Interesting. Alright. Oh my god, don't tell me.
No,
It's in the chat.
Oh my god, this has just
it
gone
was
so
a Twitch chat.
wrong. I just was going down the freaking GIFs and stuff. That's interesting. Alright. So you fire that off, you can see a whirling crack that comes off the chest. I mean, you hit your target solid. It wavers just a little bit, but similar to the dispersion that the lightning had, the pellets kind of seem to do the same sort of thing. They absorb it. I mean, you made contact, but you can't really tell if it's any sustainable damage that way. But you reload nonetheless. I mean, you only get a glance of it as you're like ducking down and popping 2 more shells in.
Yep, that would be my turn. Malcolm.
Almost. The enemy was actually higher than him.
Oh wow. My boomstick.
They unleash another ranged assault from where they're standing, but this time it's the front row. And they blast off probably close to another 10 of those strange ashen bolts. And they make impact up against the forward side of the porch line there, being obstructed by whatever shield is being put up.
Okay, I mean, he's been observing this, and he's going to wait for them to get into the barrier. He's not going to charge into a line of shadow fire.
That makes
But
sense to me.
He's going to prep. Like the moment one crosses the threshold, if it can cross the threshold, he's going to do some things. But he did activate his warrior instinct.
Yes, I'm certain he did. Okay. Well, they're not within melee range at this point. They're still moving forward. There's about maybe 10 or 12 feet before they'll reach the barrier, so you'll just be on hold. Which means that for, like, what I'm going to have that mean is that for the next round, when they get to a certain point, I'll let you take, when you declare it, you can hit out of order on the next one.
Okay.
Just after somebody else. So whoever's turn it is, you can basically say, okay, I'm going to insert myself here, and that's when you can jump in. Okay. We're back up to Danny at this point. Barnaby will fire off several more shots as he's, covering your back again. So you launch the lightning, shotgun. They have launched their next barrage. You have Barnaby standing up, unloading another 3 rounds downwind and hitting his targets.
What are his shots doing?
Well, he is, putting the rounds downwind, but they seem to be you can hear that, harsh clack right after, because you can hear the contact of the target being struck, but they don't seem to be slowing down. And he's just, leaning up against it. It's I hate this shit. They're not even stopping. It's like I'm basically firing out little tiny powder puffs.
Okay. So Danny's thinking elementally, right?
Right.
So lightning didn't work. So next, I don't know. I'll try. What are we thinking? Wind, water,
Earth.
heart.
Heart.
Gotta
Go
try
planet.
hard.
Just do one of these at them. Just do a
Yeah.
Yeah, by your powers combined.
Wait, do it. There we go.
Display the name.
I'll stop him with love. Power of love.
Power of love. Captain Planet isn't real, but the villains are.
Go planet.
Okay. Yeah, I want Thunder Wave or something.
Yep, you're gonna have to get creative. Let's see some of that
Yeah.
improvisational magic.
Yeah, okay.
Did you not learn anything from the Wheel of Time or the certain things with wind?
Right. I'm gonna be Danny's gonna go air.
Shadow and Bone is what I'm thinking of.
reaping of wheat.
Yeah,
I
right.
haven't. Ooh, Arrow Scythe was one of my favorite Chrono Trigger attacks. Actually, Arrow Scythe is one of our attacks. Wait a second. That's one of our spells in the spell book. I don't know that one yet, but I'm gonna try and create. I want to take. So I got my mono whip, right? I
Yeah.
want to make a long range version of that. My original thought when we started this 2 weeks ago was I want Death Gates from Wheel of Time, which are spinning portals that just just waffle through the air, clomping whatever. So I think I'm gonna go for a hardened air scythe and try and just
Now we're
lop
talking.
Lop off. I'm gonna do Guile Sonic Boom, but
Yep.
air.
Sonic boom.
Right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm gonna do. That's what I'm
Fiber uppercut. Anyway.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I always used to
I'll
say
be
fiber
your
up your butt.
hucklebearer. That's all I'm gonna say.
I'm gonna what? What did you say?
I'm gonna be your hucklebearer.
Oh my gosh, that was such a good revelation. Okay. What's my target?
For this one, because you're utilizing things, it's going to be 8.
Okay.
Sonic boom.
Oh dang.
Ooh.
Well,
You got
I
a
got 2.
explosion? We don't. Oh yeah. Okay.
Let's see what we got.
Oh, but wait, I got this ether burst.
Yeah.
When casting an evocation spell, you may trigger an ether burst and explode up to 3 successes during a spellcraft check.
Oh my. How much you get? 2?
So
Or
I got 2 successes. But
Yeah,
one
you
of them already
did.
exploded. So I don't
right,
know
so
if
you
that's
can explode them. You can explode them again.
Yeah, so I'm gonna explode those 2 successes.
Another one.
Uh-huh. Which means that if you get 2 more successes, interesting. Let's see it.
Oh,
Damn.
Okay.
I think Ether
Another
Burst
one.
is bursting.
okay.
Well, 4.
So you got
Okay.
4 successes.
Okay. So, yeah, 4 successes. That is a hell of a lot better than 2.
So yeah, Danny's like, first he does like move my microphone. First he does the lightning and a like middling success. And then he's like, okay.
All right, so you just
Airblade.
drag it back and you do this windmill motion up forward.
Yeah.
When you do that slashing point, you actually manage to pull together your thoughts and all of the manufactured ideas of what it might be, probably pulling on some video game or something else similar, giving it even greater shape and definition. But when you do that, you exhale and you realize that it captures your breath as the moving wind that you capture for this effect. But when you do the exhale, it takes that and you can feel it spreading out. The mass movement of it doing that almost creates sort of like a chill in the air because of the way that you're compressing it down. So it creates this almost icy look to it, and then this warble of a scything blade going at the horizontal goes skipping out of the house. Only thing that you happen to notice is that as it's expanding, right as you're doing this from the window, the corner of the scything blade snags the window a little bit. You can see wood spitting out from where it was making contact as it's cleaving right through it. And then when you do that, when it goes out, the front post that goes in front of the door gets blown in half completely with this perfect cut, but it just sends slivers just going out of this tiny little cut. When it makes impact with the enemy, as they are now closer to around 5 feet at this point, they're not moving very fast, but at 5 feet closer, this blade carves into a multitude of them. And not only that, it's also doing, based on what you said, 48 damage because of the number of successes that you had on there. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Wind power.
Yes, indeed. Alright.
I've wanted to do an arrow scythe or whatever since we first wrote that down in the book like a year and a half ago.
It's fucking nasty.
And I love that you attach the breathing to it because that is the lore of our spell casting, was about like short breath, long breath.
Yes. Yep, that's exactly the point. You can't cast any spells if you cannot take a breath. Or make you have to be able to vibrate inside of your throat. There's magic. Magic is very tuned to vibration and sound and moving air. Like, it's really important. But yeah, I mean, that cuts into a bunch of them. The one on the far left happens to be more than just dispersed. So your first target, the one that you actually hit with the lightning first, that utterly dematerializes, but it does so with this kind of craggly, gravelly sounding kind of crushing noise as all of the ash and ember just collapse to the ground, but it does so at an angle, being drifted and pulled by that scything blade that goes through the air. Some of the other ones manage to kind of move out of the way, trying to maintain some kind of distance. Like I said, they seem to be somewhat smart, but, in general, Jesus. These gifts, man, they just, blow my brains out. But, yeah, I mean, there's a few of them that actually managed to get out of the way of the actual attack. They seem to be almost disinterested up until that time. The ones that survive it have, this... You can tell that there's something happening where they cannot seem to maintain the shape that they were. Well, you can see that their outer carapace, whatever it's constructed of, doesn't seem to, re-mend very quickly. And it seems like that attack that you just made is pretty significant, as a number of them are showing signs of some kind of discorporation now.
The wind works.
Okay. Yeah.
Hey, how about Malcolm just kind of sitting with the sword poised down and goes, hey, how about we do that again?
Sorry about the door. So did I break the door frame though?
No, you didn't break the door frame because the scythe went out over the top of the porch and then it cut the main support beam, where Malcolm is looking. He's looking through the door, and then you have the steps going up, and you have the support posts that are on either side. The left one got cleaved. He could just see the fine line of it that went through.
Oh, he got the good show right there.
Oh, yeah.
Right in front of
Yeah,
him.
he just saw the fucking warble go like that, and he goes like that, makes that horrifying sound where it's just cutting metal or cutting wood, and then all the splinters kind of flying out. Yeah.
So, what type of creatures were these?
Well,
Mashed to mouth come to life.
No, right? I don't think he got that far.
I mean, you can try rolling on your occult to see what you might know. I believe you have occult, correct?
No, I mean, he's an ignorant bastard.
Okay. And Ken, it is your turn again.
So he'll do his intelligent roll, but do the background.
I think I'm going to fire at the kneecap on one of them. I want to since they seem to be I'm seeing all of them kind of they seem to be made of smaller things that dispersing they'll take damage on a concentrated point faster, and that would slow them down too. That's my thought.
Alright.
So I'll take the target as the closest one.
It's just a bit windy. Good God. Yeah, with that roll in particular, it wouldn't have given you much information. That makes sense. Let's see what this one do.
Okay, let's see. One roll. I'm gonna do 10, 5, 8, 5. I got 14 this time.
Alright. They do not attempt to dodge or get out of your way when you fire the weapon. However, you're still doing about 24 points of damage because both of the shots are going to be 12 apiece. So you're pumping out a lot of actual damage when you're doing it. Didn't seem like there was much of a reaction the first time you hit it because of the distance, but in this case, when you fire the weapon, you take a closer enemy. The spread goes out. You don't really just hit the knee. This is not a focal point weapon. When you do that, it basically takes the entire thigh and hip area out from where it was walking and standing. But it teeters over for a minute and drops down, and you can see that there's a swirl, almost like a cyclone of its own body, pushing back down to the earth as it regrows the leg. But you can see that it is a lot less stable than what it was. You don't really know how it all fits together, but it did slow it down, if nothing else, and you managed to do a great deal more damage at a closer range.
Cool. Alright, that's good to know.
Do they appear to be feeling pain of any kind?
Not at all.
Sure.
You are slightly too loud on the music.
Okay.
Just a touch. Like you don't have to adjust it much, but like I was noticing that like you are being drawn over, at least to me. I want to hear your sultry tones.
I can be sultry.
Dulcet tones. That's right.
Sultry. Anyway, so yeah.
Yeah,
Yep, you
that's
blast it out. All right, so this time, whenever it comes down to it, they've now encroached another 5 feet or so, and they're taking their time. They're just moving very slowly. Instead of launching the same volley that they had before with the multiple shots, the ones up in front, if everybody wants to make like a probably a no, it's going to be a combat sense check, please.
Another one? Okay.
Yeah. This isn't the initiative. This is just actually detecting a new threat or a change in tactic.
All right, 15.
All right, 15. What did everybody else get?
17 for Danny.
Okay.
I got 15 as well.
Okay. Let's see what Barnaby gets here. What you got, dude? He's about the same as most everybody else. Everyone seems to pick up on a change right whenever they move. You see them from the slow pace that they've been taking. A lot of the ones that have been armed with those glass weapons suddenly shift to the side completely. 2 of the strange entities have made this kind of wide circle with them holding their hands out in this sort of circular shape, completing it. One of the ones that did not move from where they were standing, so they're creating this circle between the 2 of them, using their arms to be able to do it. They actually infuse together, becoming not arms or limbs, but being able to create this perfect circle of rotating ember and ash as it's going around in rotation. One of the ones from behind stands in the midst of that. You can see it lift up off the ground. It completely becomes nothing more than just a ball of ash, but huge. Probably somewhere close to 3.5, maybe 4 feet across. And once it does that and it pulls into itself and condenses, they basically let it go, and there is this impact sound, like almost as if you would see it from a spring out of a ping pong ball machine. Like something just hits it from behind and sends it fast traveling directly into the sphere that's covering your house. That lets off a thunderous crack. Your mother actually cries from the background as the impact hits, and you can tell that she is straining really hard to keep this going. That one was different.
Hey, well, they're trying something new.
I don't like that.
Let's see here. I need... This is what I need. Luckily, your mom's kind of badass. Let's see.
I need to make it. I need to dampen them. We need a spray bottle. Danny's gonna hurl water balloons at them.
All right. All right. So, yeah. From behind, everybody gets to hear Estelle, not quite screaming or anything else like that, but when you take a look where she's at in the center of the circle, Memphis is just in the meditative pose. He actually looks up, and your mother is starting to like shake a little bit from the strain. You can see that she's got her veins poking out of her neck, like she's trying really hard, like lifting some kind of weight. And when she's like, she ends up looking at everybody else that's at the front, and you don't really get words out of her mouth, but you can tell that she's not able to sustain it at this point, and goes crashing out. Like her eyes just kind of roll up into the back of her head, and she slumps. And that would be whenever everyone gets the massive whoosh of heat, smoke, ash, and everything else. There's still a bit of a plume of it that comes bouncing through the barrier as it drops, and it's stiflingly bad. It's suffocating. Worse, you can tell that there is going to be more burning wood, because a lot of that lumped ash and coal at the bottom is going to start catching a lot of the porch on fire soon.
Hugh, turn on the hose.
Yeah.
So, Bill, you're up, dude.
I'm gonna do a tactics roll. 12. He's just evaluating the situation.
Well, your
whether
primary
it's-
obstacles and threats. The house is going to be in serious trouble if they continue launching those projectiles into an open area with wood. You're going to want to make sure that the door is shut behind you whenever you leave, or close it before you, or close it to hold it. Only problem is there won't be anybody out there to disrupt any of the attacks as they come in, which means that there will just be more ash and smoldering coals dropping all over the porch line and setting it ablaze even faster. The other situation that goes along with that is that your visibility has now been cut down massively. You can't see your targets that well. And lastly, as far as you're concerned, even with just this, and this is information that your character would all have information or have knowledge about, fire is not your friend. Regardless of whatever's going on, the undead are notoriously bad when it comes to fire. And because this is supernatural, there's a good chance that you might be disadvantaged if you take one of those projectiles, and not just in the usual fashion of, say, having to expend a lot of blood to be able to heal up. You don't really know what that fire will do, but it is scorching, so you've got a multitude of environmental problems to deal with right now, including the fact that you can't see your enemy clearly anymore. Plus, whenever that bubble burst, there was a shift of oxygen which caused it to kind of plume up like that, when beforehand the air never shifted until that moment.
He just kind of looks at the pop bubble and goes, well, that's a problem. Alright.
What's your next move?
I've already lived once. And then, can he doesn't even know if they can see him, so he's not going to charge in straight. He's actually going to go to the side and try to hit him on the side.
Okay.
And see if
You're going to try to go around?
Yeah, he's going to try to go around and not straight for charging in. And, yeah. Let's see what happens.
Okay.
So he goes in. I guess I'm going to need to take an awareness check because he's going through obscured area.
Yeah, you're going to have to do a combat sense awareness for sure. Are you trying to stealth at all so they don't see or detect you?
Well,
Trying to
he's
use that
going
smoke
to-
screen as your advantage as well, in other words?
That's literally what he's trying to do. So he's going to do a stealth roll first.
Okay. Go for it.
$16.
Okay.
And then to navigate, combat sense.
Okay. Combat sense is
20.
good. Which direction do you move? Right or left? When you're trying to
He goes
flank?
right. So he's going to the right, and then he'll charge back into the left.
Okay. As you go and move to the right, you start to get around to the porch area. It would appear that your ability to push through that smoke screen wasn't as successful as you would have hoped. Wow. Okay, dice. Sure. It seems that four
So
of them have
usual.
taken umbrage with your movements, and they launched a smaller
Usual.
set of projectiles in your direction. Yeah. While you're moving around in that particular fashion, because they have that ranged ability, they're going to fire at you while you're moving. Where are we? Okay. So, yes, make a dodge,
Just express
please.
myself.
Dodge, diggity dodge. Oh, God. There's just so many things.
What?
20.
All right. So in that case, you end up moving along, and for whatever reason, all four of them make impact as you're trying to maneuver, which actually turns out to be kind of a good thing, because if they had missed you, they would have flown into the window where like Hugh was standing and inside the house.
Oh, okay.
So in a sense, you kind of
Shield!
yeah,
Thanks.
you kind of human shielded it.
No, I dodged into the bullets.
Yeah, there you go.
Shielding.
It's like when you're parrying the bullets, remember? Oh,
Oh my fucking god. Jesus. Oh, there it is. Okay. You're still wearing your armor, correct?
Except on my right arm.
All right.
Head.
And that's the part that's guarded because you're running right, so your arm's facing the house. So you take everything on your left. There you go. So what is your resilience on your armor? Because that's going to be different than the actual roll. Because the magic
My
that they're using
resilience-
is going to circumvent it. What?
My resilience is 5.
Okay. So you still take 20 damage. There's no die roll for it because it's cutting out the die roll. But you still take 25. You still take 20 points of burning damage, which you actually feel. And for the first time in a very long time, there's pain. You actually feel it on your arm, on your body, and the rest of it. It doesn't ignite because your armor is different. I believe it was supernaturally crafted. So it doesn't. It burns cinders and creates all kinds of like smoldering scorch marks all across it. But you feel that pain through your arm and left side of your body. And gotta say, it's been what, so many hundred years since you've experienced any true pain of that magnitude in a while. You still managed to land your point and clear that distance. You can still hit your targets. So, you've gone through their volley barrage. It is now up to you to basically deal out payback.
Okay, so we have 4 attacks.
Yep.
Plus
Make it
5
count.
plus 5 to all my initial rolls. So
Yep.
that's plus 23. So what's arrayed before him right now? I mean,
What's that?
What's in front of him? What's in front of him?
When you clear that nasty, horrifying cloud of smoke and ash, there are a number of them. Now, their number cut down by 1. To your immediate forward position, you have 3 or 4 targets immediately in front, going center and up towards where the doorway is. And they're starting to move a lot faster, so you're going to have to intercept from the side, which is kind of your point. The ones that
That's
actually
good.
shot at you are further to your right, and they're leaving at least a few more in the back for further bigger shots like the ones that they had there, because they haven't let that go yet. So that's what you see when you come around.
Are they building up one of the big ones again?
They're looking to basically make that possible whenever they get the opportunity. They aren't in the midst of loading it right now, but it's very clear that they're going to keep that on the back end. Problem is, if they launch it through that door, it's going to hit everybody on the inside straight through.
Okay, so he's gonna beeline for that specific group.
Okay. Not a hard thing, man. You've got plenty of movement on you. And you've already got sucker punched by these multiple shots. So you go gliding through, the rest of them just kind of flying over the top.
Okay, and he's gonna do 2 strikes per
Okay?
creature.
Gotcha.
29 for the first 2 strikes on the first creature,
That is definitely good.
and 25 on the second creature. And how do they do against withering damage? I mean, are they demonic or undead?
Well, you don't know if,
They're-
in other words, does your ability just say it causes withering damage automatically?
So it says withering damage against demonic or undead.
Demonic or undead. Well, you don't know if they're going to suffer that or not, but I do know that it has withering damage for those 2 types, so that helps. But either way,
Let's find out.
yeah.
Let's find out. Okay, and that's gonna be how much damage is it? Add that. I gotta look up the damage, sorry, because it boosts it.
Yep, 29,
Oh,
25.
plus
Damn,
5
you're just
damage.
bringing the freaking beat on.
So that is going to be 23. Oh, no, wait, the damage is 16.
So it's 16 per hit.
So 21 damage per strike because it's plus 5 damage because of Dead Warrior.
Okay.
So 21 per strike.
All right, that means
4 strikes total.
okay. All right. And you take 2 targets, 2 strikes each, right?
Mm-hmm.
You manage to dispatch none of them actually, but they actually take cuts along this way. Well, because I had to remind myself what their actual health pools were. But your strikes actually hit home. You managed to cut through the carapace, whatever it is. When you get up close to see what this is composed of, try to think of petrified wood that's been smoldered and heated up to a red hot point. And while you're cutting that through, that's what it feels like you're cutting through. It's almost like rock, darn near. But that seems to be the armor that they have sort of surrounding themselves in sort of a disjointed way. But the strikes definitely hit home. They do not recover immediately from them. And they do have a sense of being, like, pushed away by what you're doing. So there is that.
Oh, I forgot. Let's engage our true faith.
Interesting.
I was gonna say Catholic power.
Yeah. Captain. Hey, look, Captain Catholic's got to do his work, okay?
Jesus Christ. All right, so you can engage that at the end of your turn here. So you'll pop that on. What the hell just happened? Anyways.
The power of Christ compels you. I mean,
Bloop, bloop. Anyway, so Danny.
Are we feeling like all dried out? Like, is it just?
Oh, it smells like sulfur, brimstone, ash, and smoke, burning wood. It's coming through the windows like ad nauseum, just all the way through. You can hear several of them on the porch as like Malcolm goes rushing down to the right and then over into the yard. You can see several more of those weird glowing projectiles go firing through the smoke, and something you can hear him grunt, but he doesn't stop. And then there's like the clang of metal. But it's now your turn there, Danny. So you're gonna have to figure out what your next move is, because you can see several of them coming up the center point. Then when they're making contact with the porch, by the way, the second that they do that, you can tell that their bodies are just as hot as the rest. When they make contact with that wood, it immediately blackens out and starts spreading almost that same kind of like fire damage and burn all across wherever they step. And it's leaving like little spurts of fire and flame whenever they move.
Okay, so they're like on the porch,
Yes.
right, of a house
Yes.
in a neighborhood of some kind, or whatever. It's a house, though. So
Yes.
presumably there's like a water pipe, hose, something.
Well, you're aware of the underground sprinkler system that's in the yard.
Right, like I'm just saying, like we've lived in this house for a
Yeah.
while.
Your mom,
And,
you're kind of like you're aware of it now because you just know, and you would expect it. You would expect something like that to be there.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, not that he had to deal with like sprinklers and yard maintenance, like in his.
No,
apartment.
but ritzy living's
But-
ritzy living. You kind of just knew.
I want to like activate the sprinkler. Like I want to like pop the sprinklers up and
Okay.
Channel them.
All right.
Activate, run to the back control panel, flip it up and hit on. Like I'm just thinking not quite mundane, but just like let's start hosing this down because this is my house.
Right.
initiate Pelagio pro.
Yeah. Because if we're like getting all like desiccated from the, it's all dried out from everything. I
Well,
can't,
it's
like,
doing it
summon
rapidly. It's not
water.
like the fire itself is even really that normal.
Right, but I can't like summon water. It has. To
Oh, you
be
probably
pushed
could. It
in
would just
there.
be really hard.
I'm not. Ivar. Okay, so that's. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I was gonna. Like.
Yeah, using anything elemental in your area to accommodate you will just lessen the difficulty down a little bit. If you're gonna do a straight conjuring, like if you were trying to create or conjure just a water ball or a water sphere, you'd be able to target 9 or 10, but not impossible.
So yeah, that's my plan. Is I want to activate the sprinklers.
All right.
Make them basically, I mean, surge the water through them so that they pop up, because that's how they work.
Right.
So that's what I'm gonna do. And I'm gonna use two tabs on my bracelet, my last two,
Okay.
to make it 2 successes.
How
My
often?
target.
How often does your ether burst work? Is it only per encounter?
It's per rest, so
Oh,
I
okay.
have to rest or meditate to make it
Okay.
happen again.
I was just curious. That's kind of a nice one. I like seeing that these like milestones are really working out well because that was
Yeah.
awesome.
Okay, 5d10. What's my target?
Your target is an 8. You're using what's around you.
Okay. I'm gonna spend 2 luck to bump those 7s up to 8s,
Very nice. Okay, that gives you 5 successes. Yeah.
and that gives me 5 successes.
God
on
damn.
Yeah. Well, see, what's
Sprinkler
funny is that
surge.
yeah, it's not like they go dunk like that and then just start spraying water. No. Because you remember, you're infusing this with a combat option in mind.
Right.
You bring yourself down, like you go deep inside, you're feeling yourself kind of like drowning. You're starting to actually really grab a hold of doing this under pressure. Because you know that your mother's behind you, collapsed and incapacitated or something, and she's no longer helpful. Your father's not here. You've got Malcolm who's gone, who you don't know what he's doing, and you've got Hugh to your far right, and Barnaby covering you. It's noise and like the smell of smoke, and it's very distracting. But you kind of reach your sense of awareness down into the earth below you, and you can feel the stagnant water all throughout the under parts of the house. And then the pipelines and everything else like that, and deeply constricted like tubing as you realize those are the pipes. And as your consciousness goes across it, you get a sense of the grid that's going underneath the whole home, because you can follow that like roots around inside of the yard and so on. When you just say that one word, and you can hear it coming out, there's that thread of some kind of power attached to it, like you can feel it from the center, and it pops softly, creating that sort of resonance mist that you usually have when you're really doing focused power. And when you do that, there's that illumination. Like in Hugh, you'll see it from the corner of your eye. You'll see Danny doing something, and he just illuminates in this white-blue kind of like misty light. And when that goes off, there's a rumbling sound that goes through the bottom part of the house and out in the yard. All of the sprinklers and their heads go popping straight up. But instead of being like the usual kind of pressure or anything else, because they kind of have that spiral, the spiral tops, instead of having like the actual like heads on them that cause it to directional, they go shooting off to God knows where with about almost 400 to 500 pounds of pressure. And
Jesus Christ.
yeah, but whenever he does that, they warp and bend, because your will isn't just about like having them pop straight up in the air and then go, like, you want them to hit these targets that are in the center part of the yard and the house. So what happens is that you can feel them uncharacteristically bend. The piping at the tops kind of bend inward towards the main pathway, firing these things off, and then you have them sort of bending towards the house to a certain extreme, towards where the porch and the rest of it is. And you can hear it. There are a number of them that start kind of like screeching and roaring from the other side. You can't see anything, but you're like holding your concentration. Now, here's the deal: is that you're going to be holding this in concentration, because if you let this go, then the water pressure drops. So you're kind of stuck holding this water in place. Luckily enough, it's city water, so it's not going to be coming from out of a well or anything else like that. So you can feel the ongoing flow and pressure continuously pushing through. Yeah, it's reviving itself, but you can feel it like hot veins just going down underneath the house. So it's all spraying. You just hear the pops. Everybody else hears these tink, 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 like that, and pff, like it's just raining now. There is this condensed sludge that is starting to fill up the front yard. Some of it is hitting there, and then massive plumes of dirty steam are coming out now, making the visibility even worse.
Yeah, because it's like hot. It's like when you pour water on the smoldering fire, it makes that like hot ash cloud.
Yep, it's making it even worse. So whatever thickening cloud you guys were operating in now is now covering the entirety of the yard. But there's also this really powerful rain just kind of like coming down from all these sprinklers as they are pushed to capacity, firing out all this like pressurized water.
Hopefully it like solidifies the ash creatures so that.
Yeah, you're hoping to
Oh,
basically
shit.
melt them down, which is not a bad idea. Yep.
And then Mr. 12 Gauge can take care of things.
All right. So
That's
you do
right.
have subtle visibility from where you're at there, Ken. You are up, and you've managed to reload your shotgun in the meantime.
I'm going to shoot at the first creature, not Malcolm, that I see.
You can still see some of them on the porch line. That's probably your closest and most
You're
threatening danger
literally
right now.
shooting in shadows, and then you happen to, shoot me.
Yeah, well, the other problem, too, is that if you aim too far into the crowd out in the yard, you could possibly accidentally hit Malcolm, because you don't know exactly where he is. But the ones on the porch, like I said, are definitely your most threatening.
So that's what I'm going to be targeting.
Okay,
This time, with the rain and stuff, I'm going straight for the chest shot. Easiest hit.
okay.
Body.
Yep, that would do it. Let's see what you got.
18.
That was a good shot. It doesn't seem to have... Oh, damn it, dude. Fuck. Jesus. These are hilarious. Alright, so... You crack off another double-barreled shot. This tears into the thing, and the spread is wide enough that it actually puts pellets into the secondary post closest to you. So, and, Malcolm, from the outside, you hear another thunderous crash of the shotgun going off, past the fact that you almost got slipped up a little bit when one of these sprinklers went popping off, and, it's right where you were standing there for a minute, but you felt the rumble, so you just barely moved, and now you've got that spray coming up. Oh my god. So, yeah, but I mean, the spray is ongoing. There is cries and madness out on the lawn, but with that thundering crack of a shot that you made, Ken, it hits it straight in the chest. You can see that it kind of cracks and falls backward into the smoke and the rest of it. It didn't discorporate the way that it usually did. It felt like you hit something more solid, and so the kinetic force didn't just pass through it this time. And so when you fired it, it actually crumbles and actually goes into and out of sight into the cloud.
All right. That's effective. And I'm back down.
Yep. I keep checking this. Okay.
Enemy time.
Yes, it is.
And they're
All right.
pissed.
So you went
made 'em
back
laugh.
around and you were trying to, disrupt the
Big one.
big one. Yeah, and you were attacking. So you managed to get one of the ones that was sort of, kind of ended up going to be the munition, and you clipped the other that was on the outside of the sphere that they were creating, breaking that inherent circle. And whenever you had done that, the sprinklers popped off, the crack of the shotgun happens, and you see multiple targets running your way, up to 4 of them right now. So, I need you to make...
In addition to the two in front of me.
No, well, there's only one more in front of you right now, because, like I said, you went straight to the back. So you put them at the back of their line. So those that realize that you were now standing behind them, 4 of them break off and come after you.
Yay. Is the visibility still god-awful?
Pretty bad, yeah, but you can tell that they're coming because you can see the moving cinders inside of their body.
Okay, he's gonna do stealth in his high mobility
Yep.
to move himself. Well, actually, no. He's gonna use stealth and then come at the attackers from behind. So we'll do the stealth first.
Okay. Yeah, see if they notice.
That's 13.
I wonder if Grayley's watching.
I don't know.
Probably
Okay,
not.
so that was a 1. And the dice hate me still.
Oh no.
It's like 3 weeks in a row. So we're going to use some luck.
Okay.
What's 2 luck again with Lucky?
With Lucky, 2 luck will get you in and explode.
Okay, let's just do
Yeah.
that.
Fresh take 10.
Explode.
Yeah, we're going to do a
I think
fresh
I'm out
one, that
of
one.
magical tricks.
Everybody loves magical Trevor.
Oh, I can do soul burn still.
So basically, it's going to be 20. Oh my god, I can't do math tonight. 21 stealth.
Okay, 21 stealth. You shift to your left, putting yourself on their outside flank again. And you can see them rushing forward in an attempt to try and get to you at this point, and you successfully hide from any of the attacks that they would have normally made. And then you can turn the tables as it is now your attack, and they've lost sight of you.
And that's what he's going to do. He's going to do. Well, actually, he's going to.
Which means that you also have surprise attached to your bonuses. So that's a +3 to your next attacks.
Oh my god. So he's just going to attack all 4.
Yep,
One stroke.
one stroke each, right?
Mm-hmm. So I'll have to do 4 separate rolls. I've already added the 3. Okay. Okay, we're going to spend 1 luck. I'm now down to 1 luck to make that not be a 1.
Okay, so that's just a 2. That means it's 28 instead of 27.
Past few games, man. Just saying. I don't know
I think
what
the
it
game might
is.
think you're a little egotistical, perhaps. Seriously.
What do you think?
I think they want you to learn a lesson or something. I don't know.
I'm gonna spend my last luck. So
All right, so 328s there.
Yay!
no, this has literally been amazing these past few sessions. How much the dice hate me.
Maybe you need to atone for your sins.
I guess I need to. You know?
Yeah, you
Father
got that
Flanagan
Finnegan running around
doesn't
just
have
sort
a
of
heart to
yeah. May your dice roll true. May your dice roll true. Anyway,
True.
heart. Daddy,
Your dice
I've
roll
been
true.
naughty. Told you it's- Forgive me, Father, I've sinned.
May the D19 be with you, my son.
I'm trying to
Well-
bless the rains in Africa. I got the can make it all holy
Yeah,
water.
and you should have blessed it. There you go.
all right.
That's right.
So
Why are
let's
there
see
no-
here.
That's why there's no vampires.
That means that we've got.
Because I blessed the rain down in Africa.
Let's see here. That means that it's 7, 7, 7, and 9.
So they're contending. So I also
30
have
extra damage.
my.
Jesus Christ.
I'm
Okay.
also full true faith.
Yeah.
So-
Well, that doesn't help them either because they were going to try and get close. What's funny is that you dispatched the 2 of them in your 5-foot radius, right? And then you backed off, so they still don't know exactly what you got. But when you encroach, you basically feel it. You see one of them shiver like this when you get within that 5-foot radius. They were not expecting it, and cinematically speaking, they actually rolled a 1. So all of your attacks hit with compunction. So you go crack, 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 crack all the way across. There is so much extra damage attached to these strikes as you're going across. 2 of them are completely destroyed, while the other 2 are sent reeling down below because they are starting to solidify as maddening amounts of smoke and steam coming off their body. But 2 of them are gone at this point. But you just go screaming across that line and completely dismantle them. Jesus Christ. You're doing 21 damage a hit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So how much did it actually do with the bonus?
I'll tell you in a
Oh
moment.
my god. Bill, why do you
by
have
the
so
way,
many ones?
Please, because the dice hate me. Please refer to my my GIF.
So the the total amount of damage spread across all 4 of these guys. Yeah, it's. Oh my god. 2, 3. Okay, I'm right. Yeah, it's a total of 114 is what you just delivered, like compiled together.
Just as a little kiss to the cross.
Yeah, but that water is definitely slowing them down and then some.
I'm hoping it's making it like muddy and.
It is actually. It's going to start getting really bad, and the traction is going to be getting lower and lower. The as it gets back to you, so Danny, you're sitting there and you're focusing and concentrating really hard. Let's see. Everybody roll a combat sense awareness. It's almost Danny's turn still. He'll have to because Barnaby's going to start taking some covering fire for you, or delivering covering fire.
Combat sense.
Wait, are we doing combat sense or are we doing awareness?
You're doing combat sense. You're trying to discern, again, another new threat.
16.
17.
No, wait. Danny got 17. I got 15.
Okay.
Danny's
Yours came in right as I rolled, so
Heat
that's
up.
part of fun.
Right. Good night, Inky.
Good night.
Goodbye now. Good night. Goodbye. There's a test tomorrow?
Standardized testing week.
Oh,
Yeah.
SAT.
She was complaining about that.
Day of tests.
Who's complaining about it?
She was talking about the fact that it was
Very
like she's super tired and worn out. Nope. Here we go.
I like this music.
It is pretty good.
Oh, okay. So Daft Punk needs to reform
I wish they would.
the next Tron movie, right?
Who
They
does?
should. They
Daft
should.
Punk needs to
Oh.
come back for the soundtrack of the next Tron movie.
They really should. It's stupid. Like they did such a good job on Tron Legacy. Like I can't not think about Tron and Daft Punk separately. I just can't.
Right.
It's true. It's true. A lot of people
Oh
just say
my.
that Daft Punk made a really long music video.
Yeah.
Okay. So as you're sitting there like this, everybody gets this kind of sensation of something very bad happening. Like you can tell that there's like another strike that's kind of coming in. While you're aware of that, there is kind of this like suction feeling. It's going to take them a lot more effort to perform this, but you can see as the one that got blasted back from Hugh's shot, it kind of puts this weird sort of vacuum inside of the cloud, and then there's this roiling bit of like really hot ash and smoldering, like almost looks like stone, right? When you hear Memphis go running from the center of the house, and you can vaguely tell, Danny, that your mom's been laid out flat a little bit to where she's not going to be in trouble, like she's just kind of laid down. But Memphis is at a full sprint going from where he is, but he's moving ridiculously fast. We're talking like he goes from center of the room across the living room and towards the porch at about 50 miles an hour.
His little legs are going.
His strides are what are propelling him. So he
Yeah.
goes whoosh like that. There's actually a full wake of air that goes right
Shockwave.
behind him. Yeah, it's not a.
I
It's
like
definitely not breaking the sound barrier, but it's enough that you actually feel the distortion of wind as he goes by out the
Yeah.
front. There is that another weird suspending crack as that sphere gets launched, and you realize that they were going to launch another one straight into the house, and so you're kind of like still focused on these, and they managed to do it. It's not moving nearly as fast, and it's almost more of a roll because it's taken on extra mass because of all the water, but it's rolling in this direction and it's doing it fairly quickly. When he slides to a stop at the porch, he just does this thing where he curls his hands together to like wrist to wrist and swivels them around and puts. You can actually see a glow going across his palms, his fingers, and everything else like that. And he just goes out forward like this, and there's another distortion of air that kind of pops through. When he makes impact with that, I actually have to check to make sure because he might not necessarily be as successful. Well, never mind. He beat the living crap out of their roll. But he goes forward and out. You can feel power coming off of him like you would magic, but it's different. There's something like deep down in the baseline that's very similar to you, but you don't get complicated or complex spell chains or any of that kind of awareness. It's just raw force coming out of him all at once, but you can feel his breath coming in a very specific pattern. He's inhaling the whole time he's going across, and then he exhales in a very sharp way whenever it makes impact. This sphere crushes into the center and explodes outward, sending shards and shrapnel out and around. It just makes this huge plume of smoke and ash right out in front of him, but it doesn't get inside the house.
So he's like this little.
He just did
funnel
this.
point,
Yeah.
like, blasting it.
Yeah.
Nice. Or, little Kamehameha resist.
Yep. And now it is your turn, sir. You're still keeping pressure on the sprinklers, and Barnaby just kind of like ducks down. He's like, "God damn!" Like that. You can tell that he's like mildly impressed. Like, what the hell was that?
Okay, so concentration. I have not done concentration before.
So, while
I
you're
use a
sustaining concentration
D10,
on this
right?
particular spell, it means that any other spells you take are a 1d10 down. So if you have 3,
Yeah.
you have 2. If you have 2, you have 1. You know, it goes down like that.
Okay, and is that like so next? And I eat a D10 per turn, right? That I'm maintaining.
It's not even per
concentration?
turn, it's just for per active spell. So while you're holding the spell in suspension,
Oh, okay.
so as you're holding the spell
Theoretically, I
out,
could keep this going for.
as long as, yeah,
the
and if
water
you get
pressure
hit,
runs out.
right, if you get hit or something disrupts your concentration, you have to try and maintain it, or you can just let it go. You can dismiss it.
Okay.
But while you're sustaining a spell, you just lose a die per spell maintained.
Okay, that seems really powerful. I have 5 D10, so.
Yeah, so you can still
So
evoke.
Anything else I'm casting would be 4
Yeah,
D10.
40-10 right now.
Okay. So now that everything is wet and getting muddy and bullets and been firing and all this stuff, now I want to chain lightning because they've been getting closer and closer and like converging.
Okay.
Malcolm, you're safe, right?
He's got it.
You know what happens to a toad when it gets struck by lightning? So that's. I don't have a lot of tricks in my bag, so that's kind of what I'm thinking of next. They're getting closer and closer.
Oh, you can
It's wet.
improvise all kinds of stuff, but I mean, like,
Well,
yeah,
I know, but
Yeah.
but
you're doing what your character do, man.
I mean that's really it. I want to see if this, because my thinking is that the water is like, I don't know, like hardening them from their.
It's causing them
action.
to kind of pull together and tighten up.
they're
Yeah, it's making them much
solidifying a
more
little.
solid, brittle.
Yeah, so I'm hoping that this will blow them apart.
Well, let's go, man.
All right, I'm gonna spend 1 luck to just negate the 1. So that would be 2 successes.
Okay, 2 successes. All right. So you break your concentration, or do you keep it?
Oh no, I keep it. That's why I only rolled 4.
Right. And in this case, so yeah, you're holding that whole thing out, and while you're doing that, you raise your other hand up while you're thinking about it, and there's like this flood of static electricity around your hand, and you just do the snap, and there's something that just bolts right off the top of your fist. Like when you do this, it creates that finger up, and so it goes flat right off the top of that. When it makes contact with the ground, because it's chained lightly and meant to kind of stretch across, it just goes everywhere. So, 24 damage. They can't see or dodge or do any of that stuff because they just don't have the visibility. And technically, with your, it's an area effect, so it's not even something that they have like that you have to roll a spell attack on. They basically have to juke it. That's it. They just have to jump out of the way or something like that, which they do not, because they don't even know it's coming. But there's that thunderous crack, and it goes right out. Yeah. So in this case, are you planning on protecting anybody that's out there, or just letting it ride?
Well, no,
Woo!
he's reckless. I mean, my plan was to try and hit the nearby targets and let it bounce.
Yep.
But, you know...
Okay, let me check it. It might ground before it gets to the far back. Let's see. It does not.
Yeah, so it'll jump 5 feet to the next target or whatever.
Yes,
so.
but it's not just that. It's also super conductive because it's bouncing off like the various puddles and the rest of it being super conducted.
Yeah.
So it's like that. You just catch what looks to be like a fireworks show of white and blue behind all this smoke and ash, and you can see that it makes rigorous levels of context. Yeah.
This episode contains some scenes that may be effective for photosensitive viewers.
Oh my god! Thanks for the resub too, by the way, Schrodinger.
Wow.
I've got to calculate this very carefully. So it was 24, yeah. That's what I thought. Thank you. All right. As you're going down there, you can hear this smashing and crackling of like forms on the outside. Bill, you basically get hit for another like just 10 damage. And what do you have any natural armor?
Nipple piercings are gonna light up. Oh, you're muted.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
You just hear that. You just hear from Danny. Just hears this from like the obscured fog after the pop, pop, pop. He just hears this, Johnny. Deep bellow.
Two of these strange creatures immediately like explode into dust as it's going in that same way as it's jumping around. All right. And Malcolm will be the one that actually is perceiving it from his standpoint.
Yeah, I'm firing blind.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like another two of them just become disintegrated. The electricity fulminating around them everywhere. When that happens, you've got Hugh up there. From your side of things, Hugh, you still got like some that are kind of in the crowd, out and around. You have the center part of the yard that's kind of visible because there's a bit of a drift inside of the smoke there, so you can see several shapes and you can actually fire into it without hitting Malcolm at all.
After seeing the lightning, I almost want to get my vibrobat out and start doing some work there. But
yeah, you could probably dodge him.
yeah, I mean, I'm gonna stay safe. Shoot at the chest mass of the first closest enemy.
Sounds good to me. With me. Eh.
$18.
All right. And again, you fire into the fray. They are, again, unable to really do dodge or deflect because of the obscurity of everything that's going in and around them. You manage to clip one. And again, 24 damage. And it would appear that you managed to crumble this one. Whenever you fire it, this time it actually managed to shatter and blow out.
Nice. I think, is it enemies and Malcolm?
Yes. So where you were standing, you shriek out, Danny, you get the attention of all of the enemies that are in your general vicinity. The two that actually were still left alive from your most recent onslaught managed to come after you, while a couple of others begin to charge forward. However,
How many in total?
there's two in front, two behind, as they come rushing up on you.
Good. That's going to be his new battle cry when he's just fell out. The time he's pissed off.
Okay, let's see here. Okay. Let's see what happens. Actually, this one would be good. Actually, no, I want that one.
Oh shit, son. He pulled out the children singing in Latin.
Oh, no.
All of them reform into a 20-foot tall ash golem. And... I'm taking this music.
Good choices tonight.
Are you just compiling your rolls there, sir?
Oh. Okay, that's right.
Yeah, it's dodge or parry. What in the hell? Okay.
He's just gonna dodge.
All right, dodge, sir.
He's gonna dodge into stealth. Right?
Well, you can definitely do your first dodge, try and break line of sight through the fog, and you can make a stealth check.
All right. So 23 on that dodge. And stealth, remind me, 13. Stealth of 17.
Man, you beat them by 1. They got a 16.
Dang.
Their awareness is not terribly high.
I like that we're in this war zone and you're like guerrilla style, like.
So you juke the one, then you more or less do a hard dive roll out of the way, putting at least 4 to 5 feet, if not, well, actually more like 10 to 15 feet in some direction, and they go to follow, and you start just kind of moving in and around in a way that they can't immediately see you from where you are, because you're going to stay constantly in motion to keep the, like the smoke, the rest of it in and around yourself. Plus, you're the perfect person to do this since you don't breathe. Otherwise, you'd be in serious trouble right now.
And that mobility is helping you out.
Mob.
Okay. So, they lose sight of you yet again. After you swing, basically you just duck underneath one of those heated blades and then move out of sight. It's now your shot. Go for it.
Well, same thing. Target-rich environment.
Ooh, 6.
Well, that one fails, and I have no luck.
It was a feint.
29. So 2 29s.
Okay.
Oh, and
we got?
See, that one before was just a feint to set him
Right.
up.
Yeah, so 229's a 37 and a fail.
I like that your attack bonus, it's like Eric numbers with the
Oh, that's with a -3 penalty now because of my health levels.
yeah.
Some smart ass
Daddy!
behavior sparked off the desire.
Okay.
And don't worry, next is back to wind. I'm just going through the elements.
And heart.
I hit my rotation.
How did Danny defeat the great enemy? The power of friendship.
So,
Handle violence.
all of your strikes there landed you another 111 damage spread across these 4 targets. You strike one, it still remains, but you move to the second. You do a whipping cut as you go across, and pushing yourself in between, and you cut around to where they are turning, because you've got 2 on your right that you pass, and then you come around in towards the other ones where they are trying to do this swing. It's doing a swing from over the top. You make it look like you're going to deflect, but instead you just do a half step to the side, you bring the handle up, and then you just do a downward strike as the weapon passes. So you just do this over the top and down, completely disembodying it from like shoulder out the side of where its ribs would have been. So you just go like that, and it just comes apart as it does that, and you finally strike the last, causing it to entirely discorporate whenever you come across and do another sweeping blow at the midsection. That's another 2 down.
So that's like half of them now at this point?
You guys have killed 11 targets so far.
Oh. Did you say there was 13 at the beginning?
You saw 13. You didn't have the whole
Oh, we
count.
saw 13.
Right.
Okay. These are his,
I really can't seem to stop using my stupid number pad. Anyway, repeat that
is
question because
here.
I'm sure I got lost.
what's Memphis up to? Because they're here for him.
Well, he's kind of like maintaining himself on the position of the porch. Like, this is all happening rapidly fast. Because he's
Right.
moving down into the cloud, trying to figure out exactly where he can position himself. And so, after, Malcolm has pushed his way through and made several different attacks, he's been fairly successful. Let's see here. Yeah, this is probably going to do another one of those, all things considered. So he goes into the, just outside the porch, and, starting to get covered in this water. There are a couple that kind of emerge rapidly from out of that smoke field and start to lay down the attacks. And he lays out
Like dirty
3
sprinkler water.
extraordinarily fast attacks in rapid succession. He just goes one almost in a Wing Chun sort of way, where he ends up hitting out like a center strike for the one that's coming at him with this rush. He just kind of goes in really close and does this sort of 3-inch punch motion, causing it to like blast backward into the smoke again. The 2 on his left and forward come after him. He manages to navigate in between. He does a hook underneath the arm as the one's making a strike, and does this sort of like throw where he just swivels his hip, gets the entity, whatever it is, under the chin, grabs it like this, and just swivels his hip. The thing goes ass over tea kettle as he just makes this sharp movement, sending the head into the concrete of the sidewalk. As it goes upward and down, there is a sort of a stroke of power that comes out whenever it makes impact, and you can see it kind of like crumple, like somebody who actually has bones, where it just kind of goes crunch like that, and it rolls off to the side, and he meets the other one as it's making another sort of a thrust, so it comes up like this, and he just pushes it off to the side, and manages to completely just strike here around the neck area, and there's another kind of a thunderclap as he does that. Again, that same sort of weird golden yellow light kind of coming out from the bottom, but I mean, it's like whack, 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 like that. It happens really fast as he's like administering these blows.
Nice.
And that last one ends up discorporating whenever he makes that strike. It just kind of like crumbles into sort of like thick chunks of like almost stone and
Not his
burnt
first
wood.
rodeo.
This is gonna be weird, man. Every single time. I need to change my freaking hotkeys. Always an error. Always something.
Nothing's changing for us. Nothing is popping up here.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
I must be
Seems
really
like
fast on the
that's
draw
something.
then, because I keep hitting it and I'm like, darn it, and keep switching scenes on me.
Oh yeah, nothing's changing on ours.
Yeah, that's good. Alright. So, it is now 53 after. There is a lot of action to be had yet. As we still have multiple foes left
Pick up
over.
round 5 when we come back.
Round 5.
Freeze frame.
Okay. So, yeah, we're going to have to hold it there at this point, despite everything else.
How many guys did, or how many dudes did Memphis just take out?
He took out one. Just one.
Okay. So we've gotten 12 out of 20 so far.
Well, you've gotten 13, technically.
Okay.
I'm keeping track on my end, but see, the thing is that
Yeah,
the reason
I'm
why it's
putting it in the
13
notes, too.
is that they launched one of the bastards as a cannonball.
Oh. I didn't know that.
7
that was
before
fun.
death. So, how y'all liking your legendary encounter?
It's rough. I'm using up all my things.
Well, I mean, Danny's fighting more tactically now.
Yeah. Ha ha. Great.
Really?
Not dead yet. But that
Not
was
dead yet.
so that was my 50th session with Danny.
Ooh.
Ooh, indeed.
So I don't know how that works for a milestone.
You get a major.
Well, I know, but is it fair to like have a milestone mid fight?
You could
I don't see any reason with it. There's always that sort of Dragon Ball Z style thing where you manage to like come to revelation somehow.
I'll see if I can find a thematically appropriate one for me to push through.
Hello, Graylee. Yes. You managed to catch us near
Like-
towards the end, unfortunately, but your legendary encounter is making people sweat, almost literally.
Poor Bill. He's sweating and burning. He's gonna smell like wet dog and.
By the way,
burnt dog.
despite the fact that Bill's managed to administer enough damage to kill a whole army, how much damage have you suffered, Bill?
30.
30? Could be better.
Mhm.
I need to do better. I'm gonna do better.
I'll do better.
You
With
take
how
more
much the
damage,
dice
so-
hate me right now? No, you don't need to do
Hey
that.
man,
that's
you're
really
using
good,
you're using your stealth and your ability for like all the smoke and the ash and stuff. You're doing it well, because otherwise you'd have to be juking and dodging 4 different strikes every turn, and you're basically cutting the damage down. Otherwise, no.
No, he's learning. It's a brave.
Oh, nice! I hope you're having fun with your friend. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm just laughing my ass off, man. And I've also been getting some really good data on how to run large and ephemeral groups of creatures without having to have an assload of stuff running around. So it's like, this is working out pretty good. Because I can actually keep track of how many enemies are being defeated and so on, instead of like tracking it down. It's actually pretty cool.
Yeah. I'll have to figure out an appropriate milestone.
That would be good.
What choices do you
yes.
have?
Hmm?
What choices do you have?
Okay.
How do you guys like a sort of amped up true warrior in the midst of what's going on here?
It's
Oh,
fun. I picked that out when he's doing like key strikes. Like
Yeah.
Mhm.
I like
I'm
it.
just treating him like the GIF I posted.
Yeah.
Oh, let's see.
Is he just gonna walk right over the rock? Yep, he's walking right over the rock.
I love that movie. Okay.
I watched it so much. I love D&D.
So that's Memphis.
So I've used. I've already taken Soul Burn, Arcane Resilience, Ether Burst, and Planar Intuition. So,
Right.
basically,
You might be maxed out almost.
Well, yeah. So now I'm at the point where I could take like Unburnable,
Yeah.
something like that,
Which would be awesome.
It would, but I'm not doing stuff that is like suffering ruptures and cascades, so it's kind of hard there.
Well, your dice have just been really nice, because I can tell you right now, that is your level of success without having to roll those deficits has been somewhat remarkable. Because we're not even playing the multi-dice at easy, because White Wolf would their settling point was 6. Right? That was their average. They set it at 6. We're playing hard mode and going at 8. Then that's what the whole system's going to be based on. So 8 is your natural standpoint. So you're doing way better than, like, way freaking better.
Yeah, it's.
Hello,
I've
Keely.
been fortunate.
Yeah. You're like, oh my god, I wanted so much more. I wanted so many more different side effects.
Well, but I have like Arcane Resilience, which is helping, right? Because I shrugged off first one. So I was looking at Evocation Mastery, which drops the target number and threshold by 1 for improvised spells.
Oh, that would be mean. That would be so mean.
So
you'd be slinging spells like crazy.
Well, I don't know if that means that like something that's got a threshold of 1 is like an auto success. Then, like if it's
no,
the
reduction of it is going to be only you still have to have 1 success. Period.
Right.
Like,
that's what I thought. So,
yeah. No, you still always have to have one, so it doesn't reduce it to 0.
Yeah, so that's good. But lowering the target number would be good.
That just means that everything that you have going on for evocation, like all of your improvised magic, meaning non-common spell work, you have a 7 to cast it with.
Yeah.
And that's stupid, but that's also like if I said, hey, you want to cast out that like 7 on average, but if I said, hey, your target's going to be 9 to do the water conjuring spell, it goes back to normal. Right. So it's that. But if I said, it's going to be a 4 threshold, nope, it's a 3. It really makes that like crazy. Damn, everybody's showing up. Holy crap.
The whole fam's here.
Yeah, I start to zip this thing up and everybody's like, hey, everybody.
Then Mystic Focus is the other one I'm looking at, which is spells that you hold through concentration no longer cause a die penalty.
Oof.
Although you don't do that all that often.
I don't. This is the first time I've done it, but like thematically it makes sense. I'm like concentrating while doing this. And then like
Jesus.
I would be so good at concentrating. But it doesn't apply for improvised spells. So anyway. I think I might do Evocation Mastery. But
God, that's hot.
Oh, my magic system.
Yeah. Dude, I'm proud of it.
That's what this was from earlier. I was like D enjoying his magic system. In this fight, I still have not done Soul Burn, but I haven't had to I haven't done any spells that required a spellcraft check.
Yeah.
So that's the last thing I have, the last trinket I can pull out. I've used all the other stuff I have, so this is where you're gonna see Danny's burning fast and bright, and then he's back down to like slinging cantrips.
Mm-hmm.
Eldritch Blast.
Well, it's if you like improvise your own kind of like fire dart or whatever else, if you put a little spin on it and make it more of an improvised spell. The cool thing about the evocation special is that the more, like your improvised magic gets the bonus, but your common spells don't. They become more rigid.
Right.
So it's like eventually if you use a spell enough, it goes out of the improvised category into the used category. So it actually kind of drops down. It's a weird balance kind of a thing, but I still think it works.
Right. So, but it makes sense again for this setting because he's like having to improvise all this different stuff.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
His teacher is like hanging out with Silva in church. So
You're gonna have a moment next session.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna have a moment next session because I'm not done yet. This is just
cosmic clarity.
yeah. Legendary don't mean that I just go. I was like, okay, all the enemies are defeated. We can walk away now. Like,
If I want Evocation Mastery, I have to actually have a cult score.
all right. Well,
Do I have a
that
Oh.
is pretty much that. The fight will continue next Thursday. We'll see exactly how much further this goes and how much more crazy it gets. But yeah. Now Memphis was just kind of. I wasn't actually expecting her to fail on the shield like that. I was expecting she was going to hold out longer, but she literally rolled a zip on her freaking will save or her will essence check, and I had no other successes, but she had multiple ones, and I'm like, fuck. It's like I'm not gonna have her botch, but she literally can't hold it. So she spazzed out, and the freaking bubble popped.
I mean, that's real.
Yeah, she couldn't hold it. Well, they also hit her with the freaking wrecking ball, so for show, for show. All right. Well, that said, folks, we're gonna call it a night. We'll see you next Thursday. I will check you later. Bye bye.